U.S. military plans leak, scandal and signal and consequences for the Trump administration. The story of the leak of U.S. military plans from a chat of senior U.S. officials in the Signal Messenger has erupted into a scandal that could cost Michael Waltz, Donald Trump's national security advisor, his seat. The incident occurred after Waltz, according to the official version, by accident, added the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic magazine, known for his criticism of Trump, to the chat. This scandal flared up against the backdrop of a political struggle, and Trump's opponents can use the situation to their advantage, demanding Walz's resignation. How the leak happened. On March 13th, The Atlantic editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg allegedly accidentally ended up in a closed chat of top Trump administration officials. In this chat, they discussed upcoming strikes on the Yemeni Houthis, who are attacking ships in the Red Sea and the Strait of Aden. On March 15th, the strikes were carried out, and the authenticity of the leak was confirmed by the U.S. administration. Particular attention was drawn to the statements of Vice President J.D. Vance, who expressed disdain for the U.S.'s European allies, saying, "If you think it's necessary to bomb the Houthis, go ahead. But I find the idea that we are saving Europe from bankruptcy disgusting." Vance also questioned Trump's understanding of the current policy towards Europe and suggested postponing the operation for a month. Political resonance. The question of whether Walz could have accidentally added an opposition journalist to such a secret chat remains open. Vladimir Vasilyev, a senior fellow at the Institute of the USA and Canada, believes that this could be a deliberate provocation aimed at destabilizing the Trump administration. The German publication Berliner Zeitung notes that accusations of breaches of secrecy are often used in the U.S. to eliminate political rivals, as was the case with Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who was also a participant in the chat, called Goldberg's claims about the disclosure of military plans false. Elon Musk commented on the situation on social media with sarcasm. "The best place to hide a dead body is on the second page of The Atlantic, because no one goes there." European politicians, in turn, reacted sharply to Vance's words. Former Swedish Prime Minister Carl Bildt said, "In this correspondence about the strikes in Yemen, he has once again shown deep hostility to Europe." The White House blames Biden. White House spokesperson Carolyn Leavitt tried to shift the focus by shifting responsibility for the incident to former U.S. President Joe Biden. She recalled the failures of the previous administration, in particular the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan in 2021, which was accompanied by the deaths of 13 servicemen. "We are protecting our military while we restore peace to the world. This is something the previous administration did not do," Leavitt said. At the same time, she emphasized that National Security Advisor Mike Waltz took responsibility for adding the editor to the chat. When asked about possible dismissals, Leavitt replied that the president remains confident in his national security team. Attempts to justify themselves. For the third day, American officials have been trying to convince the public that there was no classified information in the chat. It was acknowledged that the group members were National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, and CIA Director John Ratcliffe. Vice President J.D. Vance was also present in the chat, who claims that the editor of The Atlantic exaggerated the seriousness of the information disseminated. However, The Atlantic published screenshots of the correspondence, which allegedly contained data on departure times, types of aircraft, and target landmarks. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth categorically denies that the correspondence contained classified information. The secretary was merely briefing the group on a plan that was underway and had already been communicated through official channels, his spokesman said. Conclusions. The scandal over the leak of U.S. military plans has already escalated into a political battle, with Democrats demanding Walz's resignation and the Trump administration trying to protect its officials. The White House is shifting responsibility to Biden, and The Atlantic's publications are adding fuel to the fire. No matter how this story ends, it has already seriously damaged the reputation of the American national security system.